to Addis Ababa now, where Kenya earlier today launched a fresh onslaught on the ICC, seeking to have the case against Deputy President William Ruto dropped. The Africa Union Council of Ministers has now resolved to support Kenya's bid to have the case terminated. KTN's associate editor Noah Otieno has the details from Addis Ababa.
Now, the 24th African Union Summit here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, comes amidst a myriad of problems facing different regions of the African continent. The West African bloc, for example, is very concerned about the Ebola epidemic currently bedeviling their countries. The Northern and Central African countries are dealing with different internal conflicts. In the backdrop of all this, the Kenyan delegation hopes to convince the African Union countries to support one big agenda.
I come from a community, Meru, where I have clear instructions even when I came here. They sent me to come to this meeting and any other wherever I go to say this, the president is out of the ICC. But in the absence of an acquittal or a release of William Ruto as his deputy, then there can never be peace in the country.
We have to change our strategy so that Kenyans don't look at inwards, or rather, the Kalenjin don't look at Kikuyus. You know, to blame Kikuyus and say, you know what, because that will be very dangerous.
One approach is to have the African countries ratify the protocol giving African Court of Justice powers to deal with international crimes like the one facing Ruto at The Hague. The other is to get enough support within the Pan-African Parliament to apply pressure on the United Nations Security Council to have the case against Ruto dropped.
We believe in African solutions to African problems. We also believe that if we have our own courts, we will have a better way of developing our own judicial infrastructure. Because with the International Criminal Court, what we have seen is that the cases are being prosecuted in The Hague. It's not actually doing much for the judicial systems on the continent.
ICC in Kenya, it is now the hindrance, is the one that is making Kenyans not to move on. I think Kenya has come of age. Now we can deal with our own problems.
The third option is to win the world over by convincing everybody that Kenya is healing perfectly on her own without the ICC. For this reason, a big delegation of Kenyan civil society groups is here in Addis to explain what they call the IDP resettlement progress and, according to them, success.
Was it because South Africa, it was the whites who are being forgiven, and then the world just accepted and said, hallelujah. But when Kenyans are forgiving their own brothers, then it becomes a problem. Let me assure, ladies and gentlemen, when a child dies, do you live in the grave 1, 2, 3, 4, packers, 7 years? Or you just rush to bed quickly and make more children? Kenya is no longer in the graveyard. Kenya is in bed making more children.
But I really see an effort to recolonize Kenya. I see an effort to take over the resources of Kenya. I see an effort by the West to ensure that we go into some kind of turmoil.
According to sources inside the closed-door deliberations, the AU Council of Ministers agreed last night to push for the withdrawal of the case against Ruto, arguing that the same reasons that led to the dropping of the case against President Uhuru Kenyatta also apply in the case against Ruto. The heads of African states begin their plenary discussions Friday morning and will deliberate on what the ministers have resolved.